We're joined from Washington by Flynt Leverett. He's the director of the Iran Initiative at the New America Foundation, a professor of international affairs at Penn State University, and is the author of the blog theraceForIran.com. Thank you very much for joining us on the program.
Thanks for having me.
There have been whispers that Israel and the United States are behind a campaign to sabotage Iran's nuclear program. Do you believe that today's assassination was in any way linked to that?
I think that's highly unlikely in the case of the United States. It's potentially possible in the case of Israel. We know that the United States, starting under the George W. Bush administration, has had a reportedly $400 million covert program to support groups in Iran engaged in activities to destabilize the Islamic Republic. I suppose you couldn't completely rule out the possibility that a group that is receiving support from U.S. intelligence might have carried out the assassination of this professor in Tehran. But I'd be very surprised to learn that they had been explicitly directed to do so by the CIA or any other part of the U.S. intelligence community. That would be a violation of both American law and longstanding policy not to participate in foreign assassinations. In the case of Israel, there is a track record that Israeli intelligence will arrange for, engage in, participate in assassinations of foreign nationals that they believe constitute a threat to Israeli interests. I obviously don't know that that was the case in the assassination of this Iranian professor, but there certainly is that history there.
Talk in a bit more detail what the U.S. campaign actually consists of. Would it, for example, have involved sending the Iranians bad parts for their nuclear program?
There's a lot of evidence that the United States has been involved in efforts to do that, to have equipment, materials sent into Iran that, once it's installed, would not work as it is supposed to. In addition to that, the United States, of course, has very vigorous export control efforts on materials going to Iran. Under the Bush administration, it launched the Proliferation Security Initiative, which is meant to both unilaterally and in cooperation with allies to interdict shipments of various materials to Iran. And then, as I said earlier, there is this covert program to support activities aimed at destabilizing the Islamic
Why hasn't
Republic.
any of this worked? Because obviously we are still trying to diplomatically engage with the Iranians to talk to them about their nuclear program.
I think it's very difficult to disturb in a really fundamental way a dedicated nuclear program through these kinds of efforts. And I think that, if there are any gains from this, they're likely to have been marginal gains in terms of slowing down Iranian progress on mastering the fuel cycle. And it's certainly not something that's going to generate strategic leverage in negotiations with Iran.
All right, Flynt Leverett, thank you very much for joining us from Washington.
Thank you very much.